Well, in keeping up with the most atrocious presidential aspirant ever to run for the official office of the presidency, you have Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. Just yesterday, you all, he fired 1/3 of his staff. 38 folks were fired. Now, they reported this as it was shocking news. And it kind of was. But I'm kind of wondering something. Why the hell on earth, July of 2023, we're not even in the presidential year yet. Why do you have 114 paid staffers working on your campaign? Yet that is crazy. Even in presidential election years, the incumbent president usually doesn't have that type of staff. That's an insane amount of folks working on a campaign, especially this early. I said 38 people, but they said that's 1/3. Look, you all, he's in a distant second over there in that clown train that they're calling a Republican primary. I mean a distant second, like 30, 40, 50 points down. And you got 114 people you're paying? Yeah. No, let me tell you why he fired those folks. It wasn't because they had done anything that he disagreed with. It's simple. Men lie, women lie, but numbers do not lie. They are out of money. Yeah, he only raised 20 million. And they spent all of that on staff. Can you imagine that? You spent all the money on staff. And okay, let's suppose the staff was doing a really good job. It would be money well spent, right? One of the people that he had that was fired just yesterday, Hodgman. This dude is a known neo-Nazi. Used to work at the National Review, conservative publication. Known Nazi. He creates an advertisement where he morphs Ron DeSantis into some Nazi symbol whilst he's on stage. And the campaign, the official campaign, said they didn't even know anything about this until the ad hit the internet. So you got people that's officially paid in your capacity as a campaign doing things for you that you don't even have any clue they're doing. That's how bonkers that campaign is. There's no way in the world. Yeah, there's just... And they're calling it a reset. He said he fired those 38 people because it's a reset. He needs to drop out. I'm sorry, you all. That's abysmal. It's abysmal. He's blown through all that money. Any money that anybody gives him now, that's probably living expenses for him and his wife, because he's not going to be president. You know, after that whole controversy came out with what the Florida Department of Education, his director, Manny Diaz, decided he was going to have as a standard for their curriculum next school year for middle schoolers, to learn that there were some benefits to the enslavement of African people in America. He's in Salt Lake, Utah. And they asked him about what's going on in his state where he's the governor, about his education curriculum. And instead of him saying, giving some bullshit answer like, I don't know, I haven't had time to look at it, I'll have to talk with Manny Diaz, You know, any type of bullshit answer that politicians usually give. That man had the audacity to say, you know, there are some experts, I'm sure, that will teach or can mention how people who were enslaved parlayed to become blacksmiths. That's what he said. That came out of his mouth. Now, you all, that's it. That's the nail in the coffin. That's it. If he somehow, which I highly doubt, manages to become the Republican nominee in 2024, do you know how many different political campaigns are going to use exactly what he said? Yeah, verbatim. They're not going to have to add anything. They're going to use his words in campaign ad after campaign ad. They're going to say, Governor, you said there's potentially some experts. Can you name any expert that thinks that there was some benefit to enslavement of African people in this country? Yeah, because he just said some generic experts. I'm like thinking to myself, who the hell are these experts? Let us know. Yeah, you gotta tell us. Because he said, I'm sure there's some experts that will say that. And then Jesse Waters, a Fox News host, let that sink in for you, he made the same type of commentary. Greg Gutfield, he made the same type of commentary. Now, I know, or hopefully I hope that Governor Ron DeSantis doesn't think Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfield are experts on anything. Yeah, those are two men that are really dumb as rocks. Yeah. I hope he's not referring to them as being the experts. I've never seen something just circle the drain and then go down the drain as fast as what I've seen with Ron DeSantis. It's abysmal. He might as well just drop out. He's not going to ever become president. He'd be lucky if he survives the governorship down there. Yeah. Because it's a hot mess in this entire state. Yeah, he fired 38 staffers, but, you know, he should have fired everybody. I told you all, I really suspect, and I said this at the onset when he made that blunder about Russia and Ukraine being part of a territorial dispute. I said, he's got probably some Trump supporters working on his campaign, and they're sabotaging it. I said, there's no way his folks can come out there if they're really for him and prepare him and give him that type of advice. But really, in essence, you're the candidate. So when you're getting that type of advice, you should be able to be like, you know, this doesn't sound too good to me. I don't think I'm going to say this. Yeah, that's... You know what people are going to say. It's a defense of slavery. And they're going to say, this is the Republican Party that was created to abolish slavery. And now they're, in 2023, saying that there were benefits to the enslavement of African people. I'm like, yeah, he said that in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. There were a bunch of people standing behind him. There was one woman, she turned around and she was smiling, looking at everybody as he was saying that kind of crazy stuff. I was noticing people's body languages. They were kind of thinking that it was like, maybe this guy is joking, he's not. Some of them looked like in their face that they were like, he's not ready for prime time. They were standing back there, but they were like, this dude is not ready for prime time. And you all, I've been told you that. He's not ready. No, he's not even a paper tiger. Because a paper tiger looks scary. He's not scary at all. You know, folks in the White House and political pundits in D.C., they're saying, well, the president wants to run up against Donald Trump again. You know, I don't think he would mind running up against DeSantis, to be honest with you. DeSantis has no personality. That's problem number one. Problem number two, he just seems like a bully all the time. He's always angry and bullying somebody. Not appealing. You know, part of the appeal with American politics, especially presidential politics, is you have to be able to see yourself having a beer with a person. Can you see yourself having a beer with a dude that said you parlayed skills and enslavement? Yeah, no. No, not at all. He's not likable. I mean, they're trying to send him on all these different shows and he's trying to smile and look happy. It's just not working out. Yeah. I think he needs to call it a day, call it quits. Yeah. He fired those 38 people, but he's still got he's still got 80 something folks left working that he's paying. Word on the street is his campaign is broke. They don't have any money. So the rest of you all, you might brace yourself and prepare yourself for a termination letter too, because they're not raising any money. The DeSantis campaign has been out of money. Yeah, that's why he's laying folks off. You only start firing people when you don't have any money. Yeah. And those are the most loyal people. Yeah. The rest of the folks that are being paid right now, come August or September, their pay is going to be cut too. They're going to be terminated too. He's not being able to raise any money. 20 million. He raised 8 million within 24 hours. After that initial launch, which was horrible, horrendous, there was no more money pretty much for the rest of the quarter. And now he's had so many gaffes. People are looking at the polling, how horrendous it is. He's got Nazis on the campaign running around making Nazi advertisements. He's telling folks people parlayed skills in slavery. It was a benefit to Black Americans. Yeah, nobody's going to contribute to that. It doesn't look good. And you know, he was billed as this big behemoth, this challenger to Trump. Nah. You know, this is how messed up the Republican Party is. They don't have anything. They really don't have anything. Do I think they have something? Yes and no. The stuff that's currently on display, it's like this. You go into a store. You see all of the things on display, and you're like, none of this is appealing to me. You have anything in the back room that's maybe better? And you ask the storekeeper that, and the storekeeper is like, well, what are you looking for? And you're like, well, I'm looking for anything that's not this. You know, this is not appealing. And the storekeeper is like, well, maybe I have something for you. And they go in the back and they look over some of the stuff that they've got. And they're like, what about this? You're like, I'll pass. Anything else? And I think that's what the Republican Party is going to have to do. They're going to have to keep going into the back of the store, pulling out things and seeing if it resonates. And if it doesn't, it's just not going to be a thing. Yeah, but Vic Ramaswamy, he kind of got obliterated. Teslin Figueroa said this man is talking about leadership. And she asked him, what leadership have you displayed in your life? He voted for the first time in 2020, but he's all about service. She asked him, what service have you done? And he said he was a leader of volunteers in a hospital. You all. You go from being a leader of volunteers in a hospital to the presidency, it's going to be a hard no for me. Then you got Chris Christie. You know, he's talking the talk, but he wasn't that good of a governor. I'm going to be honest. He wasn't that good of a governor when he was governor of New Jersey. This is a fact. You got Nikki Haley. She said the biggest threat to women, of all the threats you can think of to women, the single biggest threat to American women is trans women. Yeah. Yeah. When I go outside, if I'm a woman, I'm like, yeah, the biggest threat to me is trans women in our society. Yeah. Yeah. Trans women are raping women, murdering women. Well, not according to statistics, but according to Nikki Haley's thinking. So, I think she's going to be a no, too. You know, Nikki Haley was governor of South Carolina. And back when there was that whole controversy about the Confederate flag flying in the Capitol in front, she made a big brouhaha and stink about it. She said, I removed the Confederate flag. But folks who live down in South Carolina, they said that's not exactly what occurred. What she did was she took the flag from in front of the Capitol building and she put it in behind the Capitol building. Yeah, that's literally what she did. Front to back. Yeah, we'll pass. Tim Scott. Now, of all the things on display, I'm going to be honest. Tim Scott is probably the best looking thing. The only problem with Tim Scott is, you all, he doesn't stand for anything. Nobody knows where he stands on anything. He's just like this happy warrior. But he's just like, yeah, he's just very bland and generic. He's like, I'm going to bring sunshine back to America. And everything is going to be happy days again. And then when you start asking for specifics, he's short on substance and specifics. Yeah, it's like, okay, that sounds good on paper, but are you going to be specific at all? We'll pass. It's really sad they don't have anyone. Not on display, not that any of us can see right now at the moment. No. Their front runner is yours truly, the insurrectionist commander. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call him. Besides the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago, the insurrectionist commander. Because he commanded and choreographed that insurrection. We all know that. You know, he's going to try to say, I didn't have anything to do with it. Bullshit. Because you knew it was going to happen. You had meetings with people who were getting people to the Capitol. You spoke at the event. And you wanted the Secret Service to ride your fat ass in the beast. Yeah, he wasn't going to get out the beast. He was just going to sit there and watch it from the beast. Wow. I'm telling you, that's the best they can do at the moment. Yeah, that's not appealing to us either. You know, this is shaping up to be a strange one. And you know, you all, we haven't endorsed anyone yet. We're waiting till October. But I'm looking at the Republican field and I'm like, This is it? You know how when you get a menu at a restaurant, you're really psyched to go to this restaurant, and then you look over the menu and you're like, this is it? This is all that's on the menu? Yeah. It's crazy. Because he's trying to pretend it's his staff. Ron DeSantis is saying, I'm doing a campaign reset. I'm like, baby, you better reset out of there, because it's not your staff, it's you. Yeah, he can hire Houdini at this point. People still wouldn't vote for him. And, you know, it's really bad. When you're up there and you kind of are defending slavery, there's no coming back from that. I'm sorry. There's no coming back from that. Will Hurd, okay. But Will Hurd doesn't have any name recognition. Will Hurd is not probably going to meet the criteria for the debate because he won't sign that stupid pledge they got going on. He potentially could be a legitimate good candidate, but he's not even going to be on the debate stage. Francis Suarez, the mayor of Miami, he's potentially kind of looking good, but here's the thing. Miami has a 9% inflation rate, highest in the whole entire nation. Then they busted some flower shop that gave his super PAC over $500,000. They said that might have come from China. He's not catching any traction either. It's just not there. Yeah. They got a lot of clowns running, but you're like, when you got the biggest bozo running, it's just not there. So you all tell me, what do you think? Do you think a staff shakeup is all Ron DeSantis needed to do? I don't think so. I think at this point he should drop out. I'm serious about that. He should drop out and maybe endorse somebody. He's not going anywhere. No, he's toast. He's toast. When I saw that in Salt Lake City, Utah, what he said, I said, he's toast. He just made a campaign advertisement. Literally, all you have to do is just run that. In every district, every Democrat that's running, if he's the nominee, they're going to pull what he said and they're going to run it in advertisement. I know politics. This is like a no-brainer. Yeah, that's like the goose that laid the golden egg. You couldn't have a better campaign advertisement. Every Democrat that's running in a district, they're going to pull that and they're going to say, this is what the Republican Party thinks about African Americans, that they benefited from slavery. It doesn't matter if you think that or not. It's what your standard bearer, your nominee, believes. So you're going to be linked to your standard bearer. I think, here's what I think. The Democrats in 2024, the House, they can win like 40 or 50 seats if they play their cards right. You know, the Democrats have a propensity for always messing up though. So, only time will tell. They kind of always screw up. But the Republican Party is just giving them layups. They can do alley hoops all day long on them. Yeah, that's an advertisement right there. I said, this clown doesn't even know how to bullshit in politics. That's politics 101. You're like, I'm not familiar with what's going on down there. I've been campaigning. I'll talk with Manny Diaz. But if that's in there, if what you're reporting is true, I don't think that that's accurate. And then that's it. It's the art of bullshitting. And for him to get up there and really say, you know, slavery was beneficial to black Americans? I said, this clown is... I told you he wasn't ready for prime time now. I said it. I called it from Jump Street. Now everybody is saying it, but I said it from Jump Street. I said, this is a chump. Yeah, he's a real chump. I looked at it. I said, when they were given that questionnaire by Tucker Carlson, and they had all that time to fill it out concerning Russia and Ukraine, and the best you could do was say, well, it's a territorial dispute between Russia and Ukraine, and we should stay out of it. I said, whoa. I said, and this is a written survey. So even if you didn't write, your campaign wrote it, you're at least going to review it before you submit it, right? I said he was over then. I said the campaign was over then. And it's only gotten worse since, to the point where he's a defender of American enslavement. Yeah. Oh boy, if he's the nominee, you all, can you imagine? Folks are going to have buttons, stickers, t-shirts, everything. The whole 9 yards. Politics is brutal. Yeah, it's brutal. And you never want to give your adversary ammunition like that. Yeah. And so you can tell that he doesn't have even, he's not even in the minor leagues, you all. Yeah, he's like playing pee-wee. He's like playing pee-wee football. He hasn't even graduated to the minor leagues yet. Yeah. Because I was like, this dude doesn't even know how to do political bullshit. You could tell he was like trying to search for something, and then he put it off on experts. But it's like, what experts are you going to find? What person would come out as an expert and say that there were benefits to enslavement of black people? Nobody. So he tried to speak this generic jargon that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, nobody's going to say that. And then he had Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfield back him up, but, you know, those two are really, yeah, that's, if anything, that's not the people you really need to be backing you up and defending you. I'll just leave it at that. It's bad. It's horrible. And you know the other campaigns, they can't wait for that debate in August now, because they got that soundbite. And everybody that wants to cut into his support, they're going to go in on it. You know, I really do hope that Will Hurd is on that debate stage. I think he'll do a service to this country to be on that stage. Republicans, you might want to put Will Hurd on that stage, even though he's not going to sign that stupid pledge. Because at this point, the folks you got up there now, they're not resonating at all with us. Yeah. And you know, I'm fair-minded. I call balls, balls, and strikes, strikes. I haven't endorsed anybody. So I'm telling you how I'm looking at this as an independent with no dog in the race yet. Defending slavery? Really? The Republican Party, the party that abolished it? Yeah. I'm like, dummy, don't you know what party you're in? I'm telling you all, this is abysmal. I'm like, this dummy doesn't even know that the party was created as an abolitionist party. Yeah, so somebody like Will Hurd in that debate can really shine because he'll be like, well, Governor, are you aware of the origins of the Republican Party? He'll be like, yeah, I'm aware. What are you trying to get at? Well, the Republican Party was created for one purpose, Governor, to abolish slavery, period. And you said that it was beneficial in some way to black people. And you're a Republican. Do you see how that can be kind of problematic? Yeah, he would make mince meat out of it. Yeah. And so I hope that Will Hurd is in that debate because, you know, a lot of things that he's saying on China and America, on artificial intelligence, you know, he's actually a former Congress member, so he knows what he speaks of. A lot of these folks are just doing things for the cameras. And with Ron DeSantis, he's clueless. He really doesn't know. You know, he's one of those things that you pump up and you say, oh my goodness, this is it. This is going to be the one. And then when he gets in the ring, he just totally tanks. That's Ron DeSantis. Boy, oh boy. Even the folks who were supporting him with money, they've stopped cutting checks. They're like, it's not going to work out. At this point, it would be like throwing money down the drain, flushing it down the toilet. They're not going to give him money. Yeah, they're not going to give him money because they know it's over. Child, when he said that in Salt Lake City, Utah, I said, it's over. Ding dong, the wicked witch of the West is dead. It's over. I said, stick a nail in the coffin, it's done. It's over. It's no coming back from that. As long as he hadn't made commentary about it, he could have deflected and said, it's the state, I'm running for president. But when he made that commentary about it, and as dumb as that commentary sounded, as clueless as that commentary sounded, I said, it's over. There's no recovering from that. Because you got to think the Democrats, your political opponents, they're going to use that. The Democrats already get a lot of black Americans to vote for them. Now they might even get some of the conservative black Americans. You heard the Conservative Black American Federation. I don't know who those folks are, but they came out and they said what he said and what Florida is doing is atrocious. And so those are conservative black Americans that vote Republican that are against you. Yeah. So those folks are not going to even support you. And what do you think the rest of folks of color think about that? You know, think about that. You're justifying slavery. That's the way I saw it. I don't know about you all, but that's what I heard. I heard that you're justifying slavery. It's like Greg Gutfeld said that you needed skills to be in the concentration camps for the Holocaust. I heard that you're justifying folks who were tortured in the Holocaust. And see, that's the type of people he has employed working for him. Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld types. And that's why he's making all of these type of strategic blunders and gaffes, because those folks are totally out of touch with reality. Yeah, he's listening to folks that are fringe. People way out of the mainstream of society. I said, wow, wow, wow. So he's done, you all. It's no coming back from that. None whatsoever. If anybody still thinks he can be president after he said that, you don't know politics. You don't know American politics. You don't know politics, period, but you don't definitely know American politics. There's no coming back from that one. He probably knows it too, because the day after he said that, he fired those 38 workers. But baby, you should have fired yourself, because you're the one that said it. Yeah, he said it. It came out of his mouth. Who knows if a staff or an advisor wrote it for him? It doesn't matter. You're the candidate. You're running for the presidency. You have to vet thoroughly everything that gets written for you. And it didn't look like somebody wrote that for him. It looked like he was thinking that, and as he was thinking it, he was saying it. It looked like one of those things where you're totally and completely uncomfortable. You're looking and you're gasping for somebody to help you. And the people in behind him were like, we want none of this. Yeah, he said you parlayed being a blacksmith after being tortured and enslavement. I said, no, he didn't. And then they kept showing that clip. I said, this dummy is running for president? No wonder Florida is a hot mess, you all. He's a dummy. You all. He's a dummy. Nobody would get up there and say that shit and want to be president. Yeah, you wouldn't even want to be caught on a hot mic saying that shit. If you got caught on a hot mic saying that, you would try to clean that up and say it was taken out of context. He's at a presser. He's at a press conference standing up in front of people saying that. That's why that woman was looking all around. She was smiling, looking at everybody in behind her. She was like, did he just say that? They couldn't even believe it themselves, the people standing in behind him. So he's done. His goose is cooked, you all. He's done. You know, maybe somebody else is going to have to jump in that race. You know, conventional wisdom is that you need to get into a presidential race at least June of the year before the election. But what people are looking at and what options they have now for the Republicans, I think there's a longingness for other people to get in. Yeah. Because even people that are sitting on the sidelines, they're like, this is the best we can do. And you know, now that he's totally flubbed and he's the distant second place runner, people are going to be like, I might get in here. I can see other people jumping into the race. I really can. I think that's what's going to happen. Some more people are going to get in because he's not getting another penny from the bigwig conservative donors. I can tell you all that now with all certainty. He's out of money and they're not going to give him any more. They heard him say that and they're like, dude, you're not ready for prime time. Because you should have totally bullshitted that. I'm telling you how the bigwig money people think. They're like, you should have bullshitted that one, dude. You shouldn't have said that. Like, they're like, man, did you just get up there and justify enslavement of black people in this country? And you're a Republican? He can call, you know, they have those people that call up, ring, ring. Hi, Mr. Timmy. Hi, this is Susie from the DeSantis campaign. I was just wondering if you could contribute like $50 to the campaign. As soon as they hear that it's from DeSantis, they're going to click. They're going to hang up. They're not giving any more money to that shit. You will mark my words. I know what I speak of. A lot of you all don't think I know, but I've been around the block. I know how campaigns are run. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but when I was at university, I had a lot of folks begging me to do things. But anyway, there was an individual who was one of my professors. And basically, he decided he wanted to run for office. Yeah, during the semester. Go figure. Anyway, in order to get special credit for the class, he elicited my support. Said, could you please go out in your spare time and try to get signatures for my campaign? You know, it wasn't much going on for me at the time. I said, I need the extra credit. I'll do it. And so that was my first foray into politics. And I've been involved in many, many campaigns. I don't want to mention any names because some of you all will say, oh, I didn't know you worked on that campaign. We worked on many campaigns. And I can tell you, if any candidate had flubbed that the way he did, that question, they'd have to get out of the race. Yeah, it'd be over. It's no way he's ever going to become president. I don't even think he has a path to the nomination now. Because in order to be the nominee, you have to be able to raise money. And he was already struggling before that situation came up. And now after this, nobody's giving him money. No, you'd be a fool to give him money. If any Republican donors do give him money, I'll be shocked. I want to see in the FEC filings who they are. Yeah, I want to see which rich dummy is going to give him money, because I'm going to laugh so hard because they're throwing it down the drain. Yeah, I'm going to laugh so hard about it. I don't think anybody's that dumb. You know, Ken Griffith, the billionaire out of Chicago, big time conservative donor, he was already on the fence saying, I'm going to still be a supporter. I'm going to contribute a little bit. After he said that shit, if Ken Griffith gives him money, you all, you know, he's down there in Miami now. He's got Citadel. Yeah, I know about Ken Griffith. Ask around, folks. Now, if he gives him money after this, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. I'll be surprised. I'll really be surprised. He could stick with him, you know, but I don't think he will. It's nothing to gain there. Yeah. And I know he had to probably be cursing out his advisors after that press conference that he gave in Salt Lake City. He had to go in there and rip some people. I know if they had set me up like that and I'm running for president, I wouldn't just fire 38 people the next day. I would fire everyone. Everybody would have to go. I'd be like, you bitches put me on that stage and made me say that shit. I'd be like, you're all fired. Get the hell out of here. Because he knows that's the end of his presidential race. That's the end of the campaign. That's it. There's no recovery from that. You all will be like, oh, you're over-exaggerating. You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Watch and see. The media is already dogging them out, but notice this. Let me tell you how this works. The Democrats are sitting back. I'm telling you how American politics works. This is a lesson for all you young people. Listen up here. The Democrats are sitting back. They're not saying anything about it, right? They're not saying anything. They're letting the media dog him out, okay? Whatever the media says about him, the Democrats who are going to be running for office in all of these different congressional districts all across the country, they're just sitting back taking notes about it. Then when they ask the Democrat candidates about it, they're going to say the Republican Party was set up to abolish slavery. Now they're in support of enslaving black people? Wow. I can't believe he said that. I'm shocked. I'm telling you how this works. They're going to be like, I'm shocked he said that. That's appalling. That's outrageous. That's despicable. He said such a thing. Yeah, they're going to act flabbergasted about it. Now, all the while, they're sitting back waiting to see what the Republicans are going to do about Ron DeSantis. This is real political strategy. If the Republicans sit there and don't say anything about what's happening in Florida and Ron DeSantis, the Democrats are going to come back and put that on the entire party. Every candidate, they're going to say, Ron DeSantis said this, and you must support Ron DeSantis because you're not attacking what he said. Tell me I'm lying. See, a lot of these campaigns want to hire me, but I don't work. I'm not a hired gun. I don't really get into politics anymore. My whole reason I endorsed our current president, Biden, was because I wanted to end Trump. He was a nightmare and disaster for this entire republic, and he should have never been elected president. And it was the worst mistake in modern history for this country to elect him as president. And everything you see as a result of what's occurred is because of him. Period. And I said this nightmare, this terrorist nightmare under him has to end. And that's why I endorsed his opponent. But I really don't care for politics. I really don't do or interject in the American system. I'm not really all that fond of it. I know how it works. I'm not fond of it. But I said he's the leader of the republic, and I don't want him to be a leader because he represents me, and I don't want that to be said that I'm part of it. Everywhere I went, people were like, what do you think about it? The French, what do you think about Trump? The British, what do you think about Trump? The Germans, what do you think about Trump? The Chinese, what do you think about Trump? The Russians, what do you think about Trump? The Mexicans, what do you think about Trump? And you know, I had to always tell people, he's an embarrassment. He's a blight. And it's a shame, it's a damn shame that we went that way. And the reason we went that way, I would be honest with people. I would say the reason we went that way is because a lot of people in this country were racist and didn't like the fact that we had a black man as president for 8 years, and they're misogynist and didn't want a white woman or any type of woman to be president. Period. I have to level with the folks. Because I'm not some salesperson for bullshit that this country does. You all know this. The establishment knows this. So it was an embarrassment to this country. And other people around the world said, okay, if America can do this type of embarrassing thing, now it's open season, now we can do it. You know, we had January 6th, and then what happened in Brazil? Didn't they run up in their judicial building, in their Capitol building, desecrate their buildings? Yeah. Sometimes you can set bad examples too for the rest of the world to follow. And he was a horrendous example. Horrendous. Yeah, horrendous example. I wouldn't want anybody to follow that type of example. And so that's why, in essence, we got involved. And now you have this going on again in 24. He's back. You know, you fired a bum, and now the bum is like, hey, can you hire me again? I'm like, dude, we fired you for a reason. You were a bum. You didn't take the job seriously. Period. He didn't take it seriously. And then he did a lousy job. So he got fired. You know, he's fond of telling everybody else you're fired. So America, we fired his ass. And in 2024, if he's that sorry-ass nominee for that sorry-ass Republican Party, it's fire Trump again, 2024. Period. End of story. He shouldn't come near, and I do mean that, he shouldn't come near the White House. He should be in prison. That's where he should be. And hopefully he goes there. Yeah. But being a leader over us, no. And Ron DeSantis, he doesn't have it either. Sorry. Chris Christie is exactly right. That wasn't leadership at all. Yeah, leadership is not projecting onto other people what you as the governor, the chief executive officer of a state should be doing. He can't blame Manny Diaz for that. Sure, Manny Diaz put it in there, but he's the governor. He could have called Manny and said, hey Manny, I see this is problematic. It's making the news. Can you have people either take that out or review it yourself? And then you hang up. That's leadership. You don't blame other people and point the finger when you're the executive. Because ultimately the buck stops with you. If something goes bad, people are going to blame you. You're the leader. And things go wrong all the time. It's not like you have to be perfect. But when they do, people don't want to hear excuses. They want you to fix it. Period. And the fact that he, after that came out, couldn't call up the state of Florida where he's the governor and say, hey, just take that out of there. That goes to poor leadership and management skills right there. Yeah, I would have called up Manny Diaz and said, hey, this is controversial. Take it out. That's the end of the story. And then when the press asks about it, you can be like, you know what? It got in there. I called up, I made some phone calls, and it's not in there anymore. Next story. Next question. Then people are going to be like, oh, damn, he's a G. He's really on this. But he defended that stupid shit. Yeah, he defended it. I said, wow. You could see the faces in behind him. They were like, shh. That woman turned around and she said, am I seeing what you all are seeing? The dudes in behind him, they were trying to keep a straight face, but they were even smiling. They were like, wow, this dude, he's the best we got. Yeah. And all of them standing in behind him, they were probably thinking the same thing. If we ever want to run for any type of office, or if we are office holders, somebody that's going to challenge us is going to play that video and circle the face and say, see this such and such person? They'll name them out and say, this person thinks that slavery was a good thing. Am I wrong? It's ruthless out here. Am I wrong? Is that not what somebody's going to do who's going to run up against them if they're politicians? If they're on a school board, next election, they're going to circle it, whoever their opponent is, they're going to say they were there, they're going to circle their face, they're going to say, see this person, John Smith in the background? Listen to what Governor Ron DeSantis said about slavery in America. They're going to play the clip, and then they're going to zoom in on John Smith's face. If John Smith is smiling, if John Smith doesn't look disgusted, they're going to say, John Smith must endorse that too. And then his opponent is going to come on and say, I'm Jane Herman. And I'm here to tell you that slavery was appalling in America. And I'm running against John Smith. Vote for me on such and such date. Who doesn't know that's how the game is played? You play the game the way it's supposed to be played until you can't play it no more. I'm telling you all how the game is played. Ron DeSantis made it to governor, but he was a horrible Congress member. You know, he tried to cut Social Security and Medicare when he was in Congress. You think the current president isn't going to bring that up? When he was in Congress, he tried to cut Social Security and Medicare time and time again. In this type of economy, you bring up the fact that a former Congress member tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. What do you think the people are going to think about that? Yeah, I'm telling you. So, I'm not willing to blame the advisors or the staff about that. He's just a horrendous candidate. You just have to chalk it up to what it is. He's horrendous. He went down there and picked a fight with Disney. Disney has been in that state for, I think, 75 years. Florida has always been kind of Republican, conservative, so Disney hasn't had any problems down there until he got in office. Yeah, and remember Andrew Gillum told folks when he was running up against him the first time, Andrew Gillum told folks he had close ties to Nazis. Yeah, do you remember Andrew Gillum in that debate told folks that he took money from somebody that called former President Barack Obama the N-word? Yeah. And then he got all self-indignant and self-righteous and said, "You're calling me a racist? I'm not a racist." And Andrew Gillum said, "Only a hit dog hollers." Now we see he's employed Nazis for his presidential campaign. They're morphing imagery. Now we see that he's said you gain viable skills in slavery. He's toast. There's no recovery from that. Nobody is going to give him the money. We'll wait till the next quarter's fundraising comes out. I'd be shocked if he's even able to raise what he raised the first quarter. If he raises $20 million this next quarter, the same amount as he raised the first quarter, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked. Nobody wants to give money to that. They know it's a losing cause. It's no way he can put that genie back in the bottle. The only thing he can say is that he didn't personally endorse it. He didn't personally do it, but he's the governor. And he's already made justifications to why it was in the curriculum. So he can't even walk back what's in the curriculum at this point. That's why you saw the Conservative Black Federation come out and slam it. Because they're like, really, dude? Really? We can't even defend this. Yeah, you're talking about enslaving us. We're conservative black Republicans. You know, he had the log cabin Republicans come out after he put out that extremely homophobic advertisement. Yeah, a lot of gay Republicans said, "I'm not voting for him." Then he took the money away from those Republican women down there in Florida, their alimony money. They said they're not voting for him. He's bleeding support left and right. You know, it sort of I think it went to his head. He won by a landslide his re-election. And so he took that as an opportunity to try to act as though everybody in the country knew what the hell was going on down in Florida. They didn't. It was an off-year election. Most people didn't pay any attention nor bother to even vote. And he took that as this super big endorsement to ram through just really extreme policies. And now that shit is backfiring worse than any backfire. Period. Yeah. Now because everybody is paying attention to what the hell is happening in Florida, it's a mess. It's a mess. I told folks you gotta get out of there. Yeah, people just... My thing is, when it's that bad, it's time to go. Yeah. And so you have to be able to exercise good judgment. When it's that bad, it's time to go. When things start looking that bad and you have a leader that's that bonkers, that clueless, that stupid, it's time to go. Because you can't trust that person, if there's a crisis that happens, is going to be able to do anything about it. if I'm living down there in Florida and something happens, I couldn't trust that he would be able to manage it. He has horrible managerial skills. And he's the chief executive. So that's another reason I would leave. If I was living down there, I would say he's not up to par. He can't do it. I get my shit and I get the fuck out of there. That's what I did. I'd leave that state to the Nazis. Yeah. Be like, you can have it. Because if any shit does go down there, he's not going to come to your rescue either. He doesn't know how to come to anybody's rescue. Yeah, he's just a horrible manager. I said, wow, look, everybody in politics learns basically early on how to bullshit. That's the first lesson you get in politics, how to bullshit. I looked at that Salt Lake City press conference and I said, this guy doesn't even know how to do basic bullshit. That's what I thought. I said, man, this dude doesn't even know how to do basic political one-on-one bullshit. And he's going to try to blame that on those advisors. That's why he fired those folks. So he can say those advisors are the ones that wrote that shit. But no, dude, it came out of your mouth. When people are voting, they're going to remember you're the person that said that. And mark my words, you all. Put it down on your calendar today. Every Democrat that's running in any district for any office, they're going to pull that video and they're going to say, my opponent, my Republican opponent, supports what Ron DeSantis said about the enslavement of black Americans. Do not vote for them. They support slavery. The Democrats are going to be ruthless with this. The Democrats are going to come out there and say the Republican Party supports slavery and enslavement of black Americans. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And they're going to pull his words and say this is why we believe that. Can one not draw that conclusion based off of what he said? Based off of what Florida did and what he said, I would be prone to believe that the Republican Party in 2023 supports slavery as well. He didn't condone it. Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfield doubled down on it. Yeah. Somehow torturing people was beneficial to their skill set. That's what Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfield and Ron DeSantis believe. I'm like, okay, bitch, now you. Can we enslave your ass? Can we enslave you and torture you and see what skills you develop? Because that's the first thing. If I work for Fox News, look, I don't work for those people. Goodness gracious, I don't know how Abby Greenberg worked for them. But anyway, I wouldn't want to come on set next to Greg Gutfield. Jessica Turloff, I don't know what her name is, Jessica, who's, I guess, a Democrat. She said she was highly offended by what he said because she's Jewish. But you know, even if I wasn't Jewish, whatever I was, I'd be offended by that. Because it's disgraceful and repugnant what he said. I'd be like, okay, Greg Gutfield, I wouldn't want to go on with him. Yeah, I would probably do it virtually. No wonder Gerardo Rivera left. He tenured his resignation because he knew Fox News was going down the drain. I would say, okay, Greg Gutfield, you son of a bitch. I'd be like, can we put you in an internment camp? You and your family. And whip you and skin your children alive. Can we do all that shit to you? What skills are you going to develop? Yeah. Can we put your wife in an oven while you look on? You know, I would put that shit right back on that disgusting piece of shit. I'd put that shit right back on that piece of shit. Yeah, I'd be like, can we put your ass in an oven? because you want to justify those type of atrocities. You got to tell what atrocities were committed. Yeah. Yeah, I know what book he referred to, but he took the quote out of context. That survivor of the concentration camps never said that the concentration camps were beneficial to him or anybody else in them. So to say because somebody did something in a concentration camp to survive is a benefit or a skill, yeah, that's not true. Yeah, it was repugnant and disgusting. Because Greg Gutfield is a repugnant and disgusting, miserable monster. I wouldn't sit or come on that show after that. And you know, they said a lot of Fox people to work at Fox, they were disgusted by him. Many of them want to remain anonymous, but they went on the record, they said if this was any other employment, he would have been terminated for saying that. And that's true. You can't say that kind of thing at any employment and just the next day show up for work. But with Fox News, you can, it's garbage. It's not news, it's garbage. They ought to call it garbage, because that's what it is, trash. Yeah, I would have tendered my resignation. I would have demanded, all those anonymous people, they should sign a letter demanding that the company fire Greg Gutfield immediately. And if they don't fire him, they should tenure their resignation, be like, I'm out of here. Because they're just allowing any old trash and garbage to be on this network. Yeah. Yeah, he should be terminated for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't want to sit next to him. Not that I would have fired to his comments, because I never found him to be funny. I never found him to be entertaining, enlightening, smart. He's a dummy. But now he's an offensive, disgusting pig who all but justified the Holocaust. Yeah, that's what he did. And Jesse Waters all but justified enslavement of Black Americans. These are disgusting, miserable vermin. Yeah. But what I would say is, okay, let's put you both in concentration camps. Yeah, put them both in concentration camps, them and their family. And do some of the same things that we know were done to other human beings. See what skills they garner, what benefits come of it from them. Yeah. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. They want to talk all that shit, I'd be like, don't talk it. Be about it. Yeah. Go to some hard labor camp. Don't do as a reporter. Just turn yourself into a hard labor camp. Concentration camp. They have some of the worst in the world in Russia and China. Pick which one they want to go to. And then just whatever skills or benefits you garner from however long you're there, come back and tell the folks if you survive. Yeah, we have no idea if they would even survive. It's doubtful, highly doubtful. Because as it stands to reason, I don't think either one of them have any skills or benefits to the society.